Okay, hello girls. So I've got my beautiful model here. We're going to do two slightly different looks. We're going to start off a little bit lighter and we're going to go a little bit heavier, so we've got a little bit more room to play around. So what I'm starting off with is the eye primer. I've already put it on the back of my hands. I'm using our all over eyeshadow brush. Close those eyes, my darling. And I'm going to put that all over the eyelid. This is a really important step because you'll actually find that your colour holds to it a lot better and it's going to last a lot longer throughout the day. If you decide that you want it to be really bright, and especially when you're using the blossom colour here, you might want something that just stands out a little bit more. I have a deeper natural eye colour, so like my eyelids are a little bit darker. A lot of people commonly ask me if I'm using hazelnut. I know it's just natural. Thanks. Oh. Yeah, lovely. It's good time. So I use the under eye corrector, and this is your own one, so I'm going to chuck it straight to your eye. So close me, darling. I'm going to do most of my focus, just a little bit of a dot through there. If you find you need more, no worries. Just blend it out, and then pop a little bit more on. Again, I'm using the all over eyeshadow brush. So I have one that's designed for all my liquids, and then one that's designed for my eyeshadows. I'm actually going to chuck a little bit more on there for us, just so we can get a nice coverage and a nice flat colour there. I'm bringing that all the way up to the eyebrow as well. Because of the peach undertone, it acts as a reflector. So what that's going to do is when we do the eyebrows, it's just going to really sit beautifully under there too. So for a nice natural wedding look, what I would do is start with a light colour. So any of our light colours in the palette, I'm just going to use the blossom here, and I'm really swiping it onto my brush. And then I'm just going to come in and I'm going to press it over the eyelid. And what I'm doing is going right up to where your crease line is. So I'm really pressing into where you can kind of feel where your eyeball kind of sits back there. It's the easiest way to describe it. And making sure I lift the lid slightly to come right along that lash line there too. I'm only going to do that to about 3/4 of the eye, so I don't need to worry about the end. 3/4 of the eye there. I like to do both eyes at the same time because then I know I'm using the same colours and I don't have to worry about changing my brushes over or dusting them off. Also means if you really nail a great eye and then you only do one of them and you forget, at least you've done both of them at the same time. Done that before too. Can't recreate on the other eye. So this colour picks up really beautifully in photos as well. So now I'm going to use this one here. I'm going to double check it. Is it still called hazelnut? Yeah, it is. I can remember all the new colours now. And I'm just using the same brush. And this colour is going to be for the outer part of the eye. So I'm really working in thirds. So I'm doing your first thirds there, your middle third through here, and then your outer third. And I'm just patting that on the eyelid, again, to the crease line only. But I'm just going to pull this through a little bit more, only through the top here onto the second third. So I'm not bringing it all the way in. Does that kind of show up on the video there too, Pat? Mm-hmm. Cool. Then same with this eye here. Right up to that crease line. And notice how I really pat it on, and that's because I want the colour to hold. The more you swipe, the more you blend out that colour. You don't want to have really strict lines. You still want to be able to blend your edges, but you don't want to blend it all into one colour. So I'm just softly doing it through the middle here. So most of my colour sits on the outside, and then I bring it forward a little bit through that middle bit there. Now, what I want you to know is really easy. Say you make a mistake and you've come out too far here or wherever. You can use the brush that you've already put the primer or your under eye corrector on and just use that as an eraser, so you can just take away any extra colours or coverage that you don't want on. So you just blend it straight out. You don't have to start again, okay? Then I'm going to come in with the eye smudger, and I'm going to use the Hot Fudge colour. So that's this one right here. So it's a little bit darker. Again, blending that, really working on majority of the tip and then the angle part of the brush. Here I'm going to use this to come right along that lash line, and then I'm just going to bring it up slightly on a little sideways V there. Same on the other eye. So just along that lash line and then slightly up there. I'm swapping my brushes over to the one that I used with the hazelnut in our lighter colour, and I'm just going to use that to blend. So I'm not adding any extra colour, but I'm just going to use that to blend out that colour there. Then I'm going to use the angle brush, same colour, Hot Fudge. I'm just going to dust off any excess product that's sitting there, and I'm just going to bring this, like pushing it into where that crease line sits there. And again, that's going from this third of the eye and this third of the eye, so here and here, but only through the top there, making sure that it blends there. You don't want to bring it first of all in here, because you want to have most of your product here and to be able to blend it through. So that kind of sits like a sideways triangle, or sideways V rather at the moment, through here and here. And then I'm going to blend it out. So making sure you've got no extra product on that brush, I'm going to use that to softly blend that through. If you wanted to, you could come in and add a little bit of extra hazelnut to blend the colour, but I think that that looks okay there. Actually, I'll show you what if you wanted to, for example, just on one eye. It's a little bit of hazelnut. I could just dab it through here, and that's going to help me blend those colours a little bit more. I'm just going to swipe out here and here. This is the one that we put our eye primer on with, just making sure that those lines sit nicely where they want them. To finish with a matte look, what I would do is come in with the Blossom, so that's the lightest colour again. Close me down, and I would just dot that over. See how it just really brightens that up again in case any extra product is sat on it. Just brightens up that inner corner there. Now if I wanted to add a little bit of colour, a little bit of glitter, what I'm going to do is add a little bit of rose gold, and I'm just going to push this through the middle third there of her eye. And this colour really picks up, especially under flash photography and under your photos. Natural light can be really good as a highlighter as well. If you're somebody that likes to accentuate the eyebrows, you could dust it under here too. I'm going to just use the liquid liner as a lash enhancer because you want a nice soft look, and I'm just going to bring it in and just dot it through there. And what I'm doing is pushing the lash down and then coming in and gliding it in. It's the cheats way of using it. Okay, open those eyes, honey, look at the camera. So you can see how that just adds a little bit of depth there. And then the same on the other side, pushing those lashes down, dotting it in. Obviously, when you're more skilled, you'll just be able to come in and draw yourself a nice little line as well. Especially if you're wearing stick-on lashes, this is a lot easier. Beautiful. With the eyebrows, I'm going to use a mixture of two colours. Remember with eyebrows to take off most of the colour of the tint first. So we've got dark blonde and blonde. Okay, so when I'm doing eyebrows, I start from here, not here. And that's because, again, I want most of my product to be able to be moved. If you put it here, you can't move out. So bring it up, small little swipey motions, dragging it through the top where I want to create that brow, and then dragging it down where I want the shape as well. Then from there I can bring it in a little bit more. And same for the other eye. Small little swipey motions. And then dragging it down the side. Blending it through to the inner part of your eye. So when you're doing eyebrows, one of the easiest things to remember is your inner part of your brow should start from the outer part of your nose, inner corner of your eye should guide up nicely through there. Where your arch sits will be your nose to the middle of your eye, up through there. The end of your eyebrow should be again nose, outer eye, in through there. So yours are perfect. I like to ombre mine slightly, so I'm just coming with a slightly lighter colour just to lighten them through the middle here. I don't like a brow that's too heavy through here, but it's a personal preference. Then when I'm blending them, I just use a disposable mascara one so that they blend in nicely there too. If you find you apply it too heavy, just use your disposable mascara one to take off any extra product. Under eye corrector, just under that eye there. And then through the top. And then using the same one as we used before. That'll just help me create those really fierce lines. Does that pick up on the, cool. Then same with this side. I'll do it this way so you can still see. Nice. And just blend it out there. One other thing I would add is I would just do a little bit of the hot fudge on your eye smudger brush. Look all the way out for me, darling. And I would just lightly do this under the eye too. So not too far in, but this just makes the eye look a little bit more complete. I would use the all over brush just to blend it out underneath here as well. If you wanted to enhance the middle part of the eye, dot it through here. And that just softens out that look as well. Are these your ones? Yeah, okay, cool. So to complete the look, it's never complete without mascara or with eyelashes. So you're either bridals, they're gonna have lashes done, or you're gonna use stick-on lashes. But lash primer is almost compulsory, whether I'm using stick-on lashes or not, even if they've got their own lashes done. So even though mine are done, I still use this product daily. So look down at the tip of your nose for me, hun. Lift your lid slightly, dot it on the ends, and then roll it up. So the top of your lid. The reason you do it on the top of your lid is in case you get any fallout of your eyeshadow. These ones don't really fall out a lot, so we're okay. Normally what we would do is do your eyes before we do your foundation in case there was any fallout. So the intensity is like the Mac Daddy of mascaras. Like this is like your big lush, I love lashes. But actually, when I'm doing a lot of my bridal makeovers, I use the Love Lash or the Love Lash Lengthening. And that's because it's more water resistant. So they're not waterproof, but they're water resistant, which helps too. Okay, so tip of your nose again for me, darling. Sometimes your clients will want really big lashes, and obviously when you're working on them, I mean, and this is coming from, coming from a makeup artist point of view, obviously when you're doing your parties, they do all of the look themselves. You can literally teach them this look by showing them as well. But you want to, if you are doing it on them, sometimes I will hand them the mascara wand if they like it fuller, because if they're blinking, it can be a little bit harder for you. Okay, beautiful. Wait for it to dry for a couple of seconds and then look up for me, darling. And then just dust on lightly. I don't like to put a lot through the bottom. If they want more, they can do that themselves, especially for a bridal look. Nice and soft on those bottom ones there. I'll leave that out so we can give that one a bit of a spritz. So there we go. That is just your nice and natural looksies. So we'll take a photo of that and then we'll come back to that one too. Okay, so now we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna smoke it up a little bit more. So I'm gonna use the all over eye brush, and I'm gonna really get a bit of the darker color through here. Get close to me, darling. And I'm gonna press that all the way through to half of the eye. And I don't want to blend it too much because I don't want to lose too much of that colour. That's the best thing that the eye primer allows, is it allows that colour to stay without too much movement and too much blending, I mean, by the way. And then we'll do the other eye. The best thing with colour is if you put too much on, you can blend it out. Don't be afraid to use the colour. Use the dark colours, have a play with them, because what's the worst that you can do? Take it off and start again. Make sure that you're really getting that right along that lash line as well. Swiping it off the brush so I can come in with a slightly lighter colour, or you could just have a couple of these different brushes. And I'm just using the hazelnut to soften out that little part there. That just helps us blend it through a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to come in with this colour here. It is,
Shiny Penny.
Thank you, Shiny Penny. This is one of my favourites. Yeah. Everyone gets scared when I show it to them straight away.
That's my favourite colour.
It's so nice, eh?
I actually think the Amber Blaze was a bit better than that.
Yeah, a little bit different pigment tone.
Mm.
Does that come up on the a little bit? Cool. So adding a little bit of shine there. Then I'm going to use our eye smudger. And I'm going to come in with the rose again and just pull that through the middle bit here. And here. If you want the Shiny Penny to be a little bit more noticeable, use your wet one and apply that with the wet one, because it's actually going to sit on your wet brush a little bit more. You can see how it picks up on that nicely, eh? Bless me, darling. And then that is going to be just a little bit bolder when you apply. If you really want it to stand out, another tip would be come in with your under eye corrector again where you want to put it. Blend it out. We're nearly done, honey. Then she's all yours. And then use the Shiny Penny again, and you can see how that picks up that colour a little bit more. And then once we've done this, we're just going to make sure that we've really blended it out, because we don't want, like I say, those really strict lines. So we'll make sure we've got no product on that. Give it a little spritz if you need to. Make sure that it's blended out softly through here. So you could now dust over with a little bit of translucent powder. That'll set it on. I'm a big fan of also making sure that I chuck the finishing spray, especially over my eyes as well. And then I'm going to ask our model to open her eyes, please. Lovely. So if you've got any fallout, just make sure that you go in with your foundation brush and just glide it away. The best thing is you would normally have not have done your makeup, so you can just come in with your under eye corrector and bring that under your eyes there. And